Hi, in this video about summarizing, I'm going to walk through making a summary of an article. If you're finding this video on our YouTube page, all of the resources are also available on my Nightingale in the Writing Center. So I want us to go through the 3 things to remember about writing a summary. And in order to do that, I'm going to use kind of an old article from 2019 that is related to nursing. You can see I've looked at this article and highlighted, and we'll get into that in a little bit. So the 3 things to remember are to keep it short, don't change ideas, but give enough details. So let's go into that step by step. Now, what I've done with this article is I've gone through and I've highlighted some points that helped me make an outline of this article. That's how I like to read in order to summarize. Your style may be different. Maybe it's your preference to read and take it in, close it, and then think, okay, what's the most important thing? And then write from there. This is my view of using this for deep understanding in order to use it for a summary or use it for my research. I've definitely started by taking notes, and I've thought about the structure of the original. That has turned into this idea of my own headings. We see there are not headings here in the reading, but my own headings of what I think is the structure of this reading. If there are no length requirements from the assignment of this summary, then it's up to me to decide how long the summary can be. With my notes in this outline, I can think about that and decide, well, maybe the longest possible that this summary would be a sentence based on each of these points. That would be quite a long summary. But this article is about 4 pages long. Maybe if I had a whole page summary, that would be okay. Summaries really shouldn't go more than 25-30% of the original. Usually they're much shorter. Another possibility would be to write a very short summary. Maybe the summary I want to write is only 1 sentence for the whole text. Maybe this summary is inside of a bigger assignment, and it's just important to put that first most important detail. And that would be the shortest I would go. But probably the most general sense of a summary would be to write 1 sentence for each of these parts that I have identified are the main structure of the article. So let's do that, and we're going to look in on that 1 part. So this 1 part of educational pathways to becoming a nurse, that comes from this part that's in purple and darker purple, and maybe a little bit of the blue, but the blue is really another idea. So I've taken this part of the reading, and this is the outline I made from it. So I want to think about how to make that into 1 sentence. And it's important in this case that I don't change any ideas from the reading. So it should be based on 1 thing. I've given you 2 examples here of ways that have changed, They go through many different and pass a really difficult test. There used to be more, but now it's much better. This is me adding my own opinions, and these opinions are not from the original. So that's a no-go. This one says it's too different from the original. Morris thinks that the IOM changed the recommendation because an associate degree is not a good enough education. Well, yeah, they had changed it from an associate to a baccalaureate or MSN, but the original doesn't say if that's good or bad. So it's important not to change that feeling in our summary. I have added here that your summary is about what one text says. If the assignment is a summary, you should only have information from this one text. If you're mixing from different texts, that's also possible in a different assignment, but that's called a synthesis. And we'll deal with that in other resources. Or you can come get help at the Writing Center if you want help with that. So I've given you 2 bad ones. Let's give you a good one. So in this one, I've written that Morris explains that although there are 6 different pathways, that there is a growing emphasis on the BSN, okay? It's more popular now, BSN. Why? Because of their 2010 recommendation. So that sums up this point and gives me one sentence for this one part of my summary. So let's look at the whole summary as we look at the next part, which is that we need to give enough details. Now, up at the top here, we see this abstract. That's really this first paragraph here. And because abstracts are such an accessible way to read, lots of learners think that this is what they should write when they're summarizing, or they just make a paraphrase of the abstract. But there are actually lots of differences. We should spoil a lot of the facts. So an abstract is really like a preview. The purpose of an abstract is to make you want to read the article. Some abstracts might be framed in a way that they give key findings or they tell key details, but there are some very clear differences between these two. Remember, a summary's purpose is that the reader of the summary doesn't have to read the original in order to understand key details. We want to make sure that that is clear. Okay, these are the 3 things, but I've got a bonus for you. We notice that in my summary that I'm using lots of phrases to identify what the author is thinking. We do this with reporting verbs, basically at the beginning of each sentence, or if we're writing a longer summary, at each section. And if you're really clever, this can be how you kind of secretly show your opinion of the writing, or what you think the writer's opinion is of the topic. If your summary is part of a bigger assignment, like maybe you're writing a lit review, or in a discussion post, you have to give a summary and then give your reflection on that or discuss one part of it, you should include an in-text citation here at the beginning of the article. You should always, always, always have a reference citation at the end, either underneath the summary or, if it's part of a bigger assignment, included in your reference list. I hope this kind of quick overview as a video has given you some clear guidelines and that you'll be able to use these resources from my Nightingale or come visit us in the Writing Center for more help.